J Squad.
What's going on, guys? Today in this video I'm going to bring you some long-awaited content. Now, I was fortunate enough to get the PlayStation 5 controller early, and hopefully maybe I can get the PS5 itself early. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to disassemble your PS5 controller or DualSense controller and install some LEDs. Now, to get things going, I also wanted to give something back to you guys for all my long-term subscribers that have been waiting for a long time for this. So somewhere hidden in this video I'm going to be putting a little giveaway. So all you have to do is just stay tuned, watch the video, and you'll see it. First person to type in this code that you'll get something good out of it. Now, to get started, to take off the front black plate right here that you can see here, only thing that you have to do is apply pressure to the bottom points that you saw what I just did with the Phillips flathead screwdriver. Once you do that, you can use a piece of plastic plunge knife, and you can just slide it across, and then the black plate will just lift right off for you. And this is Sony's way of hiding the screws, which I actually really like this design because it makes it look very sleek and modern. Now, to take off the screws at the top, you just need to pop off L1 and R1. To do that, you pull down R2, and then you put the plastic plunger up to it, and then you just pry it off, and it will just pop right off. And then now the 4 screws are exposed, and we can go ahead and unscrew them. Now that the screws are unscrewed, you can gently pry open the 2 front corners. And then there are 2 tabs directly right in the middle of the controller. You're just going to want to lift those up. And then, to be honest, the PS4 controller should start lifting up on its own automatically. And then the back shell should just pop right off, and you just want to gently wiggle it. And then get it past the L2 and R2. And there you have it. Now we can go ahead and take off the microphones. Now, I suppose if you actually wanted to completely take out your microphone, you can do this as well as a mod if you're nervous about Sony listening to you or something like that, or monitoring us. I don't know, some people think like that and stuff like that, but there you have it. You can just disconnect those 2 ribbons and then you'll be all set. Now we're going to take out the PS5 DualSense battery right here. Just want to move it away from the plastic holder where the wires are. And then you want to gently pull on the plastic part, not on the wires itself, just in case. Now we can go ahead and take out the 1 screw that's right underneath the battery. Now, once that's out of the way, the battery tray should just lift right up. And now we can start disconnecting all the ribbon cables. The ribbon cables that are on the side actually go to the triggers. They just pull right out. You just want to pull it by the plastic strips that are there. And then next we're going to want to take out the touchpad ribbon cable, just like the PlayStation 4 controller. Now, essentially the DualSense motherboard is pretty much free. Now, at the tops, there's 2 little tiny tabs that you just want to push off to the side, and then this motherboard is just going to lift right up for you. And there you have it. Now you got the DualSense motherboard out of the way. Now we can go ahead and start taking apart the rest of the controller. Now, to do that, first you're going to want to take out the light bar screws, which is right behind the touchpad. There's just 2 silver ones right there. And once you take both of them out, that white piece is just going to lift right up. You can just use your plastic pry tool. And there you have it. Now there's 2 more screws on the back tray that holds the motherboard in, and all the rumble and the trigger motors. They're directly on both sides. And once you take out these 2 screws, this whole secondary tray is just going to fall right out for you. And then this is going to expose the front shell. Now that we have this exposed, we can see the rubber touch pads that are in there that make contact to the ribbon on the front of the plastic shell right here. Now we're going to go ahead and take apart all the buttons. It's just like the other PlayStation controllers. And then there's actually a secondary rubber membrane that's behind the X, triangle, square, and circle buttons there. I believe that's for the retention for the buttons to bounce back so that you have a more tactile feel, which is actually what I kind of noticed with this new controller. And as for the touchpad, all you have to do is just push it from the back, and then it should just fall right out. We can take that apart in a little bit. Now that we have the whole shell taken apart, I can go over where exactly I'm going to be putting the LEDs. So essentially I'm going to be putting them at each corner of each button. So I'm going to have 4 LEDs in total for the touch buttons, and then 2 LEDs for the D-pad. Now that you made it this far, actually, here you go. I'm going to put the code up for you guys, and whoever types in the $10 PlayStation Store card first, there you go. I just want to thank you for your support, and I want to let you guys know that I really appreciate you guys sticking around and watching all my content. Hopefully in the future, I'm going to definitely be doing more of these. Maybe sometimes I'll do 2 or 3 $10 PlayStation cards in each video. And if I get big enough, who knows, maybe I'll start giving away some controllers, and maybe one day a water-cooled PS5. Now this is that secondary membrane that I was talking to you about. So in order to make this LED mod work, we actually have to cut out certain sections of this secondary membrane for the LEDs to fit. So right here, as you can see where I'm pointing with my X-Acto knife, these are the areas I'm going to be cutting out. And I'm going to come back and show you once I cut it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So I went ahead and cut out the secondary membrane, just the parts that I needed to get out of the way. And now I know where I'm going to put these LEDs so that I can avoid anything that's going to be in the way. So now that I have them cut, I'm just going to mark it up, and then I'm going to start drilling some holes. So I went ahead and drilled the holes. Now the LEDs are going to be sitting right behind these holes so that they can shine directly through into the PlayStation button. Now the great thing about these PlayStation buttons is that they're already pretty much clear, so it works out perfect. Now I decided to go with the original traditional PlayStation colors for each of the buttons, just like how the old PlayStation controllers were. And then for the D-pad, I just went with blue. So as you can see right here, I drilled some holes at the corners so that the LED can shine directly through it and into that D button. And there you have it. So I went ahead and put in the LEDs, and I'm hooking these LEDs up in parallel. So just so that if I put them in series, you're gonna, as the voltage gets through each LED, you're eventually gonna, the last one is gonna be really dim, and it just wouldn't be worth it. All I essentially did was just place the LED so that it was pointing directly through that hole that I drilled. And since it was pointing directly through that hole, it's going to illuminate the button perfectly. And then I just super glued it all in with some hot glue. And then the black that you see there was just a couple of solder points that I made. It's called the liquid electrical tape. Now, one thing that I noticed, the battery actually outputs 4.2 volts now instead of the 3.7. So I assumed that these LEDs were going to work perfectly, but I only found that there aren't that many points on this motherboard that are going to allow for the full voltage to go to these LEDs. Usually I would attach it to the analog stick, but as you can see, I'm only getting 1.795 volts, which clearly isn't enough because these LEDs are actually made to run off of 3.7 volts. And I actually went around the whole controller and tested every single port. So it looks like I'm going to have to just directly connect it to the battery for now with these LEDs that I got. And then I'm going to put a micro switch on them so that I can shut them on or off. Now, I guess it kind of works out pretty good because I can turn them on even when the controller is off just to like showcase it and whatnot. And here we go. So here's a quick little demo of what the PS5 DualSense controller is going to look like with the LEDs behind the buttons. Now, as you can see, I have blue for X. It kind of looks like purple on the square, but it's actually more of a pink, which is the true color, what it's supposed to be. And triangle is green, circle is red. And then for the D-pad, I did the 2 blue LEDs. Now, in case you're wondering why I don't have the controller closed up all the way and everything, is because I'm going to be making a separate video after this one showcasing how to put HD decals on your PS5 DualSense controller. Now, with this mod, you can pretty much essentially customize your PS5 controller exactly how you want it. You can put any images that you want on it, and especially since the controller is white, these decals are going to pop right on it and it will look perfect. So this video should be out in a couple of days, and then once that video is out, I'm going to close up the controller, and then I'll show you guys the final product. Now, going back to my micro switch idea that I'm going to do, this is the micro switch that I have. You just essentially have to hook up the negative wires 2 to 1 and then have all the negative wires come out of it, so that when you turn the switch off, you're pretty much just breaking the connection of that negative lead. And then for the positive lead, I'm just going to connect that directly to the battery pack right on the board itself. And then the area where I'm going to put it is directly right below the Sony logo right here. That's right in the middle of the back shell, because I found that that's the easiest spot, mostly because there's actually nothing that's in the way there anymore. And here's a quick example of what I did. As you can see here, the positive lead is on the LED and it's not touched. And then I have the negative lead going directly into the switch. And then in the middle one, I have the negative lead coming back out, and that's going to go to the negative of the battery. And when the switch is to the left, that'll be off, and when the switch is to the right, it's going to complete that negative connection for you, and then your LEDs will light up. And as a quick little update, so hopefully I will be able to get the PlayStation 5 a couple of days early, so I could go ahead and start taking it apart and get this water cooling mod out of the way, because I really want to get this done. I went ahead and got the Fantex Glacier series reservoir, and it's actually the same exact one that I used for my PlayStation 4 Pro, which is water cooled. It's just a smaller version, because I'm actually planning on trying to make this a custom case for my PlayStation 5. And this custom case, I'm leaning towards trying to make it smaller than the PlayStation 5, because as everyone knows, the PlayStation 5 is it's pretty huge. So, and right here I'm gonna be using the EVGA SFX power supply, and I'll actually show you guys how to hook that up as well. And this is a Lang DDC pump from AlphaCool. This pretty much just bolts directly onto the back of the reservoir, and then you should be all set. It makes it it's really compact and simple to use, which is why I went with this combo. And I did actually also get a 1 terabyte SSD. Now, hopefully everything works out good with that, because supposedly Sony doesn't support it on launch day, but I'm just going to install it anyways. Then hopefully once they ship out the update, it'll just work right out of the box. And hopefully once the update comes out, everything will just work perfectly, and then I won't have to take apart the PS5 again just to put in the SSD. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Hopefully it was had enough information for you guys to be able to do this on your own. Now in the next video, I'm going to be showing you how to hook up that micro switch, just in case if it wasn't informative enough in this video. And after that, I'll also show how to put the HD graphics on this controller, and then we'll clear code it and everything like that, and then I can finally close the controller up, go ahead and start using it. By the time that happens, I should be able to get the PS5 a couple days early, and then yeah, maybe I can start modifying that and everything. And in the next video, who knows, maybe I'll put another PlayStation card in it, maybe 2 of them, and the first person to watch the video, you score, you get to type it in, get the code, and congratulations. And then again, for everyone, thank you for the support, thank you for watching my videos, I really appreciate it. Thanks. And here's a quick little video of my cat, which a lot of people, they always love it. What was that? She's obsessed with these treats. Okay, she deserves it. Yep, go right in front of the controller. Yep, yep.
You got it moved around.